I like that.
If you're gonna make a bet, if you're gonna make a wager, go with
Like
because you thought they would.
Right.
That's a good one.
I didn't want to overthink that one.
Well, it wasn't
I
like
think I should start applying that to my wagers.
The point was I didn't want them to win, but I just was like,
If I could have I wish when they went down 24-0 to
What the fuck is this?
Texans, we were in our Slack room at the DNVR, and I said, Chiefs are winning this game, and they're winning it going away. And I really wish I could have placed a bet or something on that. Like that's one of the very few times. It's I am certain they are going to win this game, and I don't look at that shit. I'm like, whatever the line is.
That game I watched with Bovada open, and I was watching the live line. Yeah, and at one point the Chiefs were plus 650 or something like that. And I was like, holy shit, this would be an interesting time to put a good sized bet on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, they're down 24 points and have a lead at fucking halftime?
Yeah.
That's
Dude, they sort of.
yeah.
Dude, there's a lot more Budweiser left in
I
that bottle.
don't know. Better stabilize. I'm just really, really glad that Kareem Hunt is not on the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
that's their one kind of weak spot.
Yeah.
Dude, that delay is crazy.
I love the sound of my own voice.
Yeah.
Let me just keep talking.
Just
It's
phenomenal.
like, is that me?
Big comment.
Is that shit me? Oh, I did say that.
So you should have it. You should have it tweeted to you.
Okay.
Oh, damn, I'm gonna put my coat on. I almost did that. I almost put a shirt on underneath.
This is my long underwear.
because I knew it would be.
I was here one other time at this time of year, and I remember it being cold.
Yeah,
Like my feet were cold by the time we left. I was like,
you can get cold in here.
I like it. It's an exaggeration of the outside weather.
Hello. Okay,
You sound
that's live.
warm.
I'm ready to go as long as Jeff is ready to go.
Jeff is ready to go as long as he just gets the music to the. All right, I'm just gonna start it.
You tell me when you're ready to go, and I'm going to hit record.
All right, you can hit record on 3, 2, 1.
Live from the Sportique Studios, where the term pitchers and catchers has absolutely nothing to do with baseball, this is the South Stands Denver Fancast. I'm Colin Daniels with guest producer Bronco Jeff.
Hey-oh.
Our Rockies insider from DNVR Rockies, Drew Ian Greaseman. And your host, John Reedy. Yeah! Fuck yeah!
Yeah, baby.
Woo! Woo!
Yeah, baby. Rock and roll. All that stuff. Hail Satan. Hail fucking Satan. Woo! It's good to be here. Good to be here back with all you folks.
Jesus follower, lover
right.
of Christ.
Oh my God. I just had this woman follow me today. And I was just like, who's that? I just clicked on her thing just to see. And it was like all retweeting anti-abortion stuff. And I was like, oh, lady.
You're in for a bad experience.
Yeah, I don't even have to try, and you're going to be in for a bad experience. So, yeah, that's just the fun stuff of Twitter. You know, it's good times. But welcome back. We tried to get another show under our belt, and you know, Colin, I was telling our guests as we were walking in, we were going to do the remote one, And it's like once I get home, if I know I don't have to leave, I just shut down.
Dude, I know.
I shut down. And so last night I was like, man, I'm so tired. But I thought, what if I have to drag my ass over here? Then I'll be ready to rock and roll. So here we are.
I kind of feel the same way. It's tough. It's tough. You get home, you get into your routine, you get a few calories and some protein in you, and a couple of beers, maybe a gentleman Jack or two. Watch a little Narcos Mexico. Next thing you know, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
I don't know how these people do it.
Fuck, I
Seriously.
know.
You know, like I was listening the other day. I was at the rec center and I was listening to Reasonable Doubt, which is Mark Garagos and Adam Carolla.
Oh, I meant the Jay-Z album, but go ahead.
They do that show once a week, and then Carolla does CarCast, and he does Ace on the House, and he does the Adam Carolla show every day, and sometimes two podcasts.
Well, it helps. It helps to get paid. It helps.
Well, it helps. Yeah, sure,
But-
absolutely. He's not doing anything else. He's doing
Yeah, that would
and
be
that's cool.
That would be awesome. But
that would be awesome.
But speaking of doing podcasts all the time, our
Jesus.
guest here is a well, coming up. He's going to start doing them a lot more. But Drew Creasman is with us. How's it going, buddy?
It's going really well. Yeah, podcasting. This is unusual. No, wait, no.
It's not. It's not. No,
No.
you're
You were last here, I think, in October or no, November or no, August of last year.
It's been a while.
It was
I
a
think.
month, though. That's for sure. It was definitely a month.
Last
Wait,
time you
wait.
were here, you guys didn't have that cool fucking new logo.
That's true.
Which,
It's a
by the
nice
way,
logo.
I have to give you guys credit. That ND Line Co.
Yeah.
That fucking logo is sick. The new DNVR logo. Before we get into all the other shit that's going on, I want to ask you about the name change and how much that meant to all you guys. Brandon finally backing his own name off the brand. But no, I think the DNVR, the Denver without the vowels, is fucking sick. And I think you could take it from city to city. Like you could have Chicago, same way, take out the vowels, boom. You got a thing. I think it's really fucking neat. How is everybody over there feeling about it? And how's the business? How's that whole fucking experiment working out?
Man, it's been amazing. I'm surprised. Like, usually you don't get a bunch of people writing in about a rebrand. Like, usually, you know what I mean? Like, getting responses. from
Rebrands
fans.
are kind of like, who cares? Fuck it.
Right. Like, and I wondered if that's how people were going to take it, but people have been overwhelmingly positive. And I think it's just because, like you said, like the design work done by Eric at D-Line Co. and Blaze, shout out. They've been absolutely phenomenal. And, I think Brandon, recognized that it was time to take the company to the next level in terms of all of our look and feel. And anybody that's going to do that, those guys are a big part of our company now in every facet, in every way. I did this whole thing recently where we threw Movie Week and we celebrated the best sports films in history. And they were a huge part of the branding and design of that. If you're going to be a professional company, you got to look professional. These guys are, our professional face. And I think they've absolutely nailed it. And, whether it's the shirts and the hats, which are the obvious kind of like cool shit that they make, or if it's, kind of the more subtle stuff, like you said, like the logo, or sometimes it's just graphics that we can put out on Twitter that look sharp and engage the fans. And that's I think the biggest thing about whether it's the name DNVR, the logo, all of it has been about reminding people that our whole goal is to be accessible, to be for you. That's why we threw the Movie Week thing and put out a bracket so fans could vote. Or we did a big award show where at the end of the year, all the fans got to vote on their favorite athlete of the year, the play of the year, what the call of the year was. Congratulations to Splendid Serbian Hooker for that one.
that beat out Shooty Shoot?
Yeah, it just barely beat out Shooty Shoot. And Take That L on the Way Out was not eligible. It was just by a month ineligible.
Oh,
so I think that could have won.
That's a big savior for that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, but really what I think we really need to talk about, and I don't think many people are,
Is what a huge douche Brandon is and how the fuck they pulled this off.
that's for after when the
Okay.
camera's out.
Okay.
No, what I think, what a lot of people, I always like to say a lot of people are saying, but no, a lot of people aren't saying. They're not talking about the newly minted hockey fan that this guy.
Oh, congratulations!
This
by the
guy
way.
has become Denver's newest, biggest hockey fan, and I wanted to talk to you about that because you've embraced hockey. You love it. I see you during the games. You're tweeting about it. You're enjoying the hell out of it. What caused your conversion to hockey guy, and how is it going so far?
And can we call you Hockey Drew?
Absolutely, 100%.
Please do.
I've already had one or two people upset with my Rockies analysis tell me to stick to hockey. I could not. I literally could not name every member of the Avalanche, and I could probably name 8
So wait,
players
so you
in
started
the
talking
NHL
about
who
the
are not.
Rockies,
Oh,
and
yeah.
someone said, "Stick to hockey, douchebag."
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
But it's actually been honestly it's been extraordinary. I have been fully embraced by the Avalanche community. I have all the stupid questions. I've tried to make it clear that I'm not coming in as an expert. I don't know what I'm talking
Sure.
about. I enjoy the game from that perspective and have fun not knowing what the hell is going on a lot of the time, and being able to reach out to a community of people that sometimes, somebody in my position it can start to feel a bit preachy. People
Sure.
come to me with questions all the time, and I do have access to the clubhouse all the time. I can get answers from people in the know off the record. It can start to feel a little bit preachy. So when I had to turn to Twitter and say, "Hey, what's a saucer pass?"
Well, I was going to ask you. So, hockey fans are notoriously prickly, and they typically don't embrace that kind of thing. So, but I noticed nothing but positives coming your way, and I thought that was really cool. That people were like going, "Hey, here's somebody who wants to learn about it. They want to get into it, and they seem to embrace you." And that usually doesn't happen with a lot of hockey fans.
Yeah, I mean, I've been told there can be a lot of gatekeeping. I think some of that you've got to come in with the right attitude. You get out, you get what you put out there a little bit, but also I think you go in and you let them be the experts. I think that's the key.
I think that is too. I think that if you come into it and start throwing your weight around, then people start going, wait a minute. I'm the expert here. But I think that's you've taken the right path and kind of just said, hey, I want to learn. I want to know about this. Let me know. I think the enthusiasm is what people like. I think your enthusiasm for it is what is probably what endeared you to a lot of people. So, but my other question is, so there was a game and it was pretty intense and everything, and you were freaking out about it, and like everybody was like, wait till the playoffs.
Yeah.
Wait till the playoffs. So you haven't really watched much playoff hockey before?
Any.
Okay.
Really,
So you know that
attachment. And when I was a kid, I remember it being on.
Yeah.
Because my parents were super cool and they took me to sports bars a lot when I was
Sure.
a kid. And that's where I hung out. And so when I was running the playoffs,
Old
back
men
when they
gave
would-
you beer.
yeah, exactly right. And they had to highlight the puck. Like I remember
the
that on
blue,
TV, and the Avs being good and made me like, hooray, Colorado, but no.
Yeah.
In any earnest way. Until a few months ago, I had never watched any complete hockey game whatsoever. So I have not experienced playoff hockey.
Have you been blogging the whole experience of becoming a hockey fan out of cut cloth?
I've mostly just been tweeting about it. I've written a couple of articles for DMVR. I plan to write a couple of more about the things that I've learned this year and probably get a lot of those out when presumably they're making a deep run into the playoffs because they're awesome. But I've been doing as much as I can to kind of chronicle the whole thing. And it came out of because we started doing a weekly podcast where all 4 beats get together and we talk about the biggest sports stories in Denver. And it was very clear to me that the Avs in general are one of the biggest sports stories in Denver. And I was like, if I'm ever going to get into this, now's the time. I've got the resource of like 2 beat writers who are amazing at their jobs. So I can just use them to learn about it. But more fun than that, honestly, has been from people I've never met before, many of whom aren't even American citizens. There's a lot of Canadians out there.
A lot of them like hockey.
And they're just, I don't think I've had a single person really like pissed at me or negative about anything that I've had to say
That's
about
great.
the hockey so far.
So when I
Even
brought
my constant references to that Chance the Rapper SNL sketch, like it's not wearing thin yet.
I don't know. I haven't watched SNL in a while, but that's a whole different topic we can get into later. How long it's been since I've watched it. Well, I was talking about playoff hockey, and I'm sure you guys have seen the famous tweet about doing cocaine and riding a motorcycle on the back of a plane. You know this tweet?
Mhm.
I
Yes.
do not.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
know this.
So that I'm sure you got hit with that a lot.
That's been sent to me several
And
times.
that's what it's like.
I'm
That's
ready for
exactly
it.
what it's like.
It's going to be interesting because I am working usually that time of year is when the Rockies are really going into it. So I had some experiences last year where like the Rockies would just get they'd be up 7-4 and then blow the game. And then it was Avs playoffs. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to be stuck in traffic. I'm going to go sit at, Blake Street Tavern or whatever. It's just right there. And then watch the hockey. I had no idea what was going on, but I enjoyed watching the people get very excited when the goals happened and stuff. But I had zero attachment to it. Like now I know their names.
Yes.
Like now not having Nazem Kadri around, I understand. I don't fully understand why that's a problem, but I've been watching long enough to get that that's a problem.
It's a problem. It's a big problem. But we can talk a little Avs later. But I just wanted to touch on that real quick,
I'm just glad they've got Nathan Landeskog.
That's him. Yep. Yeah.
That's the guy.
Yeah. See, now that's the people they're going to heap shit on him. They're going to be like, you don't know shit, dude. It's not Nathan Landeskog. Yeah, that'll happen.
It's not.
It's not. So, but no, I wanted to welcome you to the great hockey community, and you'll be fretting along with the rest of us when the playoffs come. It's really a good time.
You mentioned the Avalanche being the big sports story, or one of the big sports stories. What if you look around the entire sports landscape right now? And I think John's probably leading us toward a break here pretty soon. But think about, what would you say are the top 3 sports stories? This is the kind of thing I find myself thinking about when I'm driving across town. Like, what are the big sports stories in your mind? Top 3 in the Denver market right now.
In the Denver market specifically, well, there's definitely Nolan Arenado versus Jeff Bridich, and that honestly,
we're not going to talk about that tonight.
Okay,
not going to talk about it.
Yeah, all right. And I haven't talked about it on my podcast at all. No, it's that's right up there at the top. It's been with the Avs and Nuggets. I think everyone's just kind of waiting around for playoff time right now. There's kind of a steadiness going.
See where they're
going to
land in the playoffs.
Yeah, those will become much bigger stories when we get there. Not much going on with the Broncos. Oh, the Mel Tucker thing. There we go. I mean that's still fresh. I think CU's search for a new coach, considering, and I'm just learning it again. I wouldn't know about this without our podcast where we all get together, but. The recruitment class that they had out there.
See, Colin, you just had them run down my list. I just had a list of things we could talk about. You just ran down the whole list.
No.
Use them as jumping off points.
No, that's right. We're going to talk about all that real quick. We are getting close, but I just wanted to say before we got off hockey, we can talk about it a little bit later. I just wanted to say that I fucking hate the NHL. Okay, I love hockey. But I hate the NHL. It's a garbage league. It's run by morons, and mainly because of my fantasy hockey team. Every goddamn week, my opponent has 8 to 10 more games than I do to play. So I'm always the underdog every week.
I know exactly what you mean.
It is fucking awful because the scheduling is so poor. They do such a bad job. When they came out of the All-Star break, my opponent had like 25 to 30 more games than me. And then I ended up losing by like 30 points, but I almost won. But I'm at a disadvantage every fucking week, and it's driving me insane. It's driving me fucking insane, Colin. I don't know what to do about it.
You got to add drop.
I am, but you have to be careful because you only have
absolutely. The way the percentage of ownership works in that league, like if you look at players who are dropped, they're not more than 40% owned. So
it depends. Depends on the matchups.
There's nothing but dregs left.
But I'm gaming. I'm gaming every week just to try to get ahead. I'm in second place right now, but I'm just too.
I slid to 6th. I went from 2nd to 6th in 1 week.
Yeah,
I don't even know how that.
And anyway, I'm upset. Even though I'm in second place, I'm upset with the NHL because their scheduling sucks dong. And it is a bunch of bullshit. But we're gonna.
Speaking of a bunch of bullshit, before you take us to break, and I know you're headed there, you're wrong.
What?
The reason I asked him what are the top 3 sports stories in the Denver market is because you're wrong, and the radio stations are wrong, and the TV stations are wrong. The top stories in the Denver market are the ownership of the Broncos and what's going on with altitude. Those are the top 2 fucking stories, and I don't hear enough talk about it. Now,
okay. Well, those are definitely in the running, but I think there's reasons why they're not talked about a lot. So Jeff, get us to break, and we'll take a quick one, and then we'll be back for the second quarter right after this.
Oh, if Broncos ownership will be the number one story in Denver until and for a year after it's settled.
I'm gonna say, how long is that gonna take, bro?
Everyone's so sick of that. It's
I'm
like,
just
fuck.
like,
Oh, I'm not.
I was
I
going to
think
say that too.
it's
The reason that people are
fascinating.
waiting for the playoffs is because most people can't watch it.
no.
But it's
True.
fucking good.
Yeah.
I have
So-
DirecTV, and that
Dude.
game last night was so fucking incredible.
Oh.
Shit.
Take her out, please.
Well, there's always the illegal stream too.
Yeah, that stuff gets so. It's too dynamic. There's too much you got to keep.
I
up
wouldn't
with.
know about that. Because why?
'Cause you're a billionaire.
Because you
I respect
billionaires.
billionaires. I'm not
I'm
a
pro-
billionaire.
I respect.
I'm actually a billionaire. I think there should be a few.
Yeah, I don't care how much money you got, but at some point, if you have enough money that you could just sit there and light stacks on fire every day and not have it impact you, then you got to do something else with it. That's just me, you know.
I'd buy buildings for me. Is what I would do.
They
I
have
call
that.
them
You'd run out of buildings to buy. That you'd own every building, then you'd be like, shit, I got a pile of money still.
I still gotta buy some more buildings.
Okay, so we're coming back in.
Questions?
You got questions?
I got questions.
I have a lot of questions.
I'm ready to go unless anyone needs to take a break.
Yeah, I better take a whiz.
Yeah, that game last night was fucking sensational.
Yeah, it was
because the Stadium Series game was such. I mean, I
Oh,
know
God.
you were.
We gotta talk. We gotta
Yeah,
talk, more about
that.
Yeah,
But
we
did-
gotta
did
talk
you-
more
did you
about
see
that.
the game by chance?
The what?
The
Were you
game?
there?
Did you see the game?
No.
The stadium series?
But I was
Yeah.
down
Yeah, I
in
watched
Colorado
it.
Springs though.
I mean, what the fuck, dude? Like, our guys would have the puck.
Well, this is what I asked. I asked AJ, but he was. I think. Okay, well,
I don't talk.
I'd have to ask AJ this, but I think he was in the middle of the game. The game was starting, so I think he was super busy. I'm curious how visually it looks, because if you're used to one thing, right? So let's say we're used to doing a show here, and all of a sudden we do it outside. It has a difference, you know what I mean? And it bumps you a little bit. Most arenas are probably going to be similar, I think, as far as their lighting goes. But I wonder with the outside, the ice looked funny,
For sure.
and I heard the ice was bad too.
Can I tell you a funny sports story?
Sure.
In this realm, I was talking to John Gray about this last year, and I was talking about pitching in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, dude, why? You just own those guys? What is there something about the ballpark? And he said there is a little bit about the ballpark because the backdrop is very close and very clean. It's like I feel like I'm right on top of them, and I can just kind of throw down.
And
their throats.
they can't see
Right.
it. It's visually, it's weird.
And then he drew in contrast, and this really made it make sense to me. It's like Dodger Stadium. It's it's so far away and so wide, and there's so much noise back there that it can take you a second. Because batters talk about the hitter's eye all the time. It's something people know is like to track the baseball or whatever. But he was like literally just the view you have when you're standing on the mound.
The
and looking
view
at
could
the batter.
obscure it or confuse it.
Yeah, it
I
can.
could see that.
Well, and I was thinking about that with baseball. You've got all different. Most of it's done. Shit, I don't know. They started maybe when it's light and it gets dark, so they're all pretty used to that. But it changes.
Yeah.
At a hockey thing, it's always the same environment. It's
Yeah.
always going to be the same. I would imagine. I don't know. The lighting probably has to have a standard that they follow.
I was gonna say it's pretty standardized.
It's got to be pretty
Yeah.
standardized. So if you're in Las Vegas or Pepsi Center, you're just looking and it all looks the same to you, right? Just maybe the sound's different.
Right.
But when you go outside, it changes, I think. And I think there's a weird visual that maybe, and I don't know. The Kings did
that
fine.
about like Steph Curry. They're like, every hoop he ever shot on was in an NBA arena because he was tagging along with his dad.
Right.
So he's used to the air pressure, the lighting, the floors. Like,
Yeah.
that's all he ever knew. So it wasn't like
Makes sense.
he went from a blacktop. But the fucking Avs, dude. I saw like 5 times in that game where the guy with the puck wasn't under pressure and he would just pass it to somebody that was kind of glued on him. I'm like, it's like you're just giving it to the other team. Like,
Well,
they looked awful in that game.
Oh, the Avalanche?
The outside game.
Oh, the outside game. Yeah, they look terrible.
I mean,
But I was saying last night the
But
Islanders
no,
are
last night
fucking
was-
terrible.
No, last night they were.
Yeah,
fucking shit up.
I just think visually it's weird. But then again, the Kings did fine. So it's like, well, what's
The Kings didn't have any pressure on them though. Like
Yeah.
they were headed into a wood chipper.
and you could be a shitty team and you've got no pressure on. You're gonna be a good team.
And Quick was just, I feel like he was in their heads in the first period. All those saves, like,
Yeah.
he should have scored in the first 5 seconds.
Well, we can talk some Avs, guys. We got some,
We got microphones and
we got microphones. We
bad
got,
attitudes, and
yeah, that's
I
right.
got some bad jokes. Okay, so I'm gonna do read then the questions. It's the questions. You got that queued up?
Yeah, it's already, hang on.
Okay, so I'm gonna do a read first,
Give
then
me-
you're gonna leave
give
me
me
last.
one sec.
We'll do DNVR first. DN.
All right, so do we want any music coming in right now, or are you just going to start reading?
So I just read, then we chop it, then you play music, we go into questions.
Okay, so
You
the
played
first
the
song
questions.
I'm going to play is questions.
Yep.
Yep, got it. I'm ready.
Yep.
Are you ready? We're all live. We're all up.
Fucking suck. Fuck,
Yep.
fuck, fuck,
So
suck.
you're gonna start.
Yep.
Okay, I'm ready. If you are.
I can think of no reason why you or I would not subscribe to DNVDenver.com. The best coverage of the Buffs, the Rockies, the Rams, the Broncos, and I guess the baseball team. Colorado Rockies. DNVR, formerly BSNDenver.com. Now the DNVR. Look at their merch store, at their sweet, sweet, awesome lids like Drew Kreisman is wearing right now. Check them out because they are covering every sport in depth. Kreisman's going to be out there in Phoenix for a month covering the Rockies, and I honestly, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. You guys sign up for DNVR. Tell them the South Stand sent you. With the extended NBA All-Star break, are Denver fans tired of not being able to watch the Rockies? The Nuggets, I mean. The Nuggets. It's a great joke, just a bad delivery. With the $400,000 Team LeBron donated to the charity Chicago Scholars, how many funerals will be paid for?
See, now this is what now see.
That was joke 2.
This is joke 2. It doesn't get any better. It gets worse. But like this is why you say it in that context. It's like okay, haha. But then if you type that out and it it just doesn't come off well.
Okay.
Keep going.
That's what podcasts are.
Yes, exactly.
In addition to raising money for Chicago's youth, did NBA All-Stars contribute to a fund to buy Adam Silver food? Does Pat Bowlen generally not get enough recognition for his decades of work with unwed mothers? Is Pat Bowlen quite literally deep within the NBA and DNA of every Broncos fan? Did Pat have hoes in different area codes back when Colorado had only one area code? Were his mistresses naturally understanding when he forgot their names?
This fucking guy.
That's a good one.
Will the NHL have another outdoor game at Air Force Academy when pigs fly? Now that it has switched to a sports-centric format, is the only way 850 KOA will get its core audience back having a cop shoot Alfred Williams outside a convenience store? You have questions. We have answers. SouthStandsDenver.com, Colorado's worst sports talk since 1971.
Wait, you have more music, or are we just coming back in?
How does that work? Gosh.
Here, it's fine. I just needed to cross a couple of things off here. You know what you bring up Big Al. Very interesting. Have you noticed this past week he was all maybe week and a half, he was all over Twitter. Like he has a Twitter account.
Which he never uses.
Never uses. And then all of a sudden he was all over, talking to people and shooting shit.
You know why?
I have a feeling. Why don't you tell everyone, Colin?
So this last week, oh my God, it's so bad, dude. They gave up Rush Limbaugh and everything. They created that Freedom 760 and they put all their
My favorite
core listeners all on another station. And so KOA has this more now sports centric format. And they paid Alfred Williams just out the ass. Let's say somewhere between $500,000 and $1 million, somewhere around there. So they gave that guy a ton of fucking money.
Yep.
And what happened? Well, they went from having a 5 share in the Denver market to a 3.4 to a 2.5. Latest one that came out in January, just came out this week. They scored a 1.4.
That's bad.
Rate.
That's real bad.
1.4.
For the blowtorch, that's real bad.
For the blowtorch. For the 50,000 watt blowtorch of the Rocky Mountain West. So yeah, their ratings are completely in the shitter, and their Freedom 760 is a 3.5. So it's double plus what KOA is doing, and they're paying a ton of money for talent.
He was all over Twitter, and I hadn't seen him on there in a long time. I think someone said, "Hey, maybe you ought to get out there and remind people who you are." And
Probably so.
So, but bringing that up, it's interesting, and for our guests being here, classic radio is just fucking gone, right? I mean, it's not gone because there's always going to be people that will just turn their radio on, but the format, the podcast, the instant thing you can do, you can after a Rockies game, you can throw a podcast up and talk about it right away. People can have that on their phone. They can listen to that. They won't even know there's a radio and radio stations to listen to in fucking 10 years, right?
Yeah, I've got a lot of friends in radio, and I enjoy doing radio, and I even enjoy listening to talk radio, especially sports talk radio or weird late at night stuff. Talk radio can be fun, but
George Norrie.
Exactly.
Bullseye, dude.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Literally what I was talking about. But yeah, every once in a while, someone will ask us "Hey, why don't you guys do a radio show?" And we're kind of well, we do 6 podcasts a day as a network.
Because you're gonna die. That's why. Because you and everybody like you and like me are gonna die. Dude, I'm a radio fucking junkie.
Yeah.
I am a radio fucking junkie. I listen to podcasts of radio. So that's the kind of guy I am.
But it is when you think about, especially just how ubiquitous now smartphones are, it's why would we take this thing that you can have anytime that you want, listen to it, pause it, do at your own rate? Why would we take our Netflix show and put it on network television? Yeah, put it on ABC. Exactly right. Why would we do that?
And it's if I go, you know what?
That's a really good.
I need to hear what you're saying about the Rockies. Am I going to wait around till 3:15 for you to appear on some radio show? No, I'm going to go fucking dial this up right now, and I can listen to it instantaneously.
No, but you can listen to Jack and.
I'm not,
Jerry got fired.
I'm not going to listen. I wouldn't listen to that even if any of those guys were there. My point is,
at least you can wake up in the morning and not hear Rush.
I don't listen to the radio at all anymore. Between satellite radio, podcasts, and my own music, I don't listen to the radio at all. The only time I turn the radio on is if the Avalanche game's on. And
if there's a nuclear war.
And then sometimes that'll be on. I can find that on satellite too, so I won't even bother. But I don't listen to it anymore. There's no point for me to listen anymore. And like I said, If I want to know, I gotta see what AJ's saying about the Avalanche, right? I'm not going to wait around till he's going to be. Oh, I got to wait till he's on at 4:45.
Well,
I can go right to the source.
I'll
That's
tell you
where
what,
it is.
you youngsters are going to feel real silly when the EMP comes and I'm hooking up a 9-volt battery to an Edsel and tuning in.
That's the only way Al's going to return any money on the investment is if the EMP hits, right? Otherwise, it's fucking podcast city. People Broncos, Avalanche, all that stuff. You can get that information daily now. And I listen to a bunch of hockey stuff. I listen to a ton of hockey stuff, and it's fucking great. I will not hear that on local radio. I will not get that information on local radio. There's no way. So
speaking of hockey and information that you might have used, it would have been really wise of people considering going to the outdoor game at the Air Force Academy to have read John's column. And I wish to tip my hat to you, sir, because nicely done. John was published at Mile High Sports about a week before the now infamous, and will be talked about for a decade to come AFA game, where people were stuck in traffic for fucking 4 and 6 hours trying to get in and out of Air Force Academy. John wrote that column, published it a week before at Mile High Sports, saying, this is why I'm not going to the outdoor game at Air Force Academy. And you said you better bring piss jars. And you also used the phrase "aim high," which that was fucking awesome. That was classic Reedy's. Great job. But you should be moonwalking across the entire city of Denver right now.
I kind of was, but then I was kind of like, well, you can't celebrate too much because all these people are miserable, and they're just like, oh, this fucking sucks. So you can't celebrate too much when people are miserable. But
you at least could have retweeted the column while they were stuck in traffic on the way home.
Hey everybody! Well, I
did. You heard a guy died. A guy literally fucking died.
No, I did at one point because somebody put something out about this is a fucking mess, and I was like, hello, I was like, so listen. First of all, not a hard call to make, right? Have you ever been down there before?
If you've driven south on I-25.
Yeah. If you've ever gone to Colorado Springs, 1, 2, if you've ever gone to anything at the Air Force Academy, not a hard call to make. People are like going, "Oh my God, dude, you called it." I'm like, look, man. Anybody could have told you this. Anybody that's been down there could have told you this. This is not a hard call. When I went to that Notre Dame game, we were pissing in bottles because we were just stuck in traffic going in. Well, we didn't even try to leave coming out. We just stayed and just hung out in the car and waited for everyone to leave before we get out because it was a mess. That was back then, okay, for Notre Dame. I figured Notre Dame, pretty popular. Well, outdoor game, Avalanche, people are going to want to come down.
5 times as popular.
5 times as popular. And it was a huge fucking mess. And yes, it's awesome being right, but at what cost, Colin? At what cost? At what cost? So, but you know what? I just knew it'd be. I love the. You probably didn't go to the outdoor game before. You probably didn't go to the one at Coors, right?
No.
Okay. So we did. It was awesome. It was a good time. The weather was pretty good for February.
Sports at Coors Field are pretty objectively good.
It's good. It's good overall, right? And was like, oh, this is fun. This is a good time.
The fucking rink is far away.
It's far away. Yeah.
I'll bitch about that.
It's far away. We were up on the party deck, so we were a little far away.
DMAC had a really good idea. He's like, you know what you do? You put bleachers right off the glass, up to a certain height, and then you start the stadium seating at row, 204 or whatever, so that everybody's sitting above it, but you allow the elite of the elite.
I thought about that.
Sit fucking courtside.
You could move the rink up against like where
one side or the
is,
other,
or where the outfield is,
and put everybody there.
Yeah, and do it that way. Yeah, you have to sit high though, because people were like they were showing pictures, and they were like on the like right where you would sit like in football, right at the lower level, and they were like, I paid $4 for this, and it's like you should know you can't see anything like that when unless you're on the glass, you can't see anything. So you have to be high. People who bought nosebleed seats were like, it was great, I could see it well,
wonderful time.
But it was
there's this guy is a buddy of mine on Facebook, Brian M. We'll call him from and he lives in the Springs, and he went and he's like, oh, I don't understand what these people are talking about. I got there at 10 a.m. The game started at 6.
At 6.
He was there at the AFA for 8 hours. He's like, I don't know what these people are talking about. It wasn't so hard. First of all, you're coming north and going south, not the other way around. And secondly, you were there for 8 hours.
Yeah, no thanks.
Dude, I heard a guy on the fan the other day talking about he wanted to buy a beanie hat. They ran out of beer in 17 minutes. The concessionaires all ran out of beer in the first 17 minutes, which means most people weren't even there yet. So imagine being in traffic for 4 hours, getting there in the second period, and not being able to buy a beer. This guy waited in line for an hour and 45 minutes to buy a beanie hat. So it wasn't just the traffic that you talked about. It was the complete unpreparedness of our great American forces
Our great American troops. Yeah.
to sell beanie hats.
Listen, they put on. They listen. They do great at what they do, but they don't.
Flyovers.
I'll
They
bet-
fly
I'll bet
over.
if they-
Flyovers is great.
I'll bet if they had been selling MAGA hats, it would have gone.
They're selling MAGA hats down there right now as we speak. They're down at the Broadmoor.
365
To
days
the
a
people
year.
who are still stuck.
Yeah, people are still stuck. No, they
Dude,
showed.
honest to God, this is a true story. Not to interrupt you. We spray painted. Me and my friends went to one of those big circles in the Broadmoor. They've got these big traffic circles, and we spray painted "Eat the Rich" on the street there.
They love that down there. Yeah, they love seeing that.
Long time ago.
It was funny when they showed. They were like, the game's getting started, and it looked pretty full. And I was like, oh, okay, it looked like everyone kind of made it in. I figured the going out would probably be a mess. But then they showed the planes flying over, and it was just a line of taillights from like Castle Rock on down. I was like, oh my God, these people still haven't gotten in there yet. Anyway, it was a fucking mess.
And you called it.
Well, like I said, not a hard call to make. Anybody could have.
No, it wasn't a hard call to make, but Hot Pockets jokes aren't hard to make either.
Sure.
And that one dude thought of it first. And said, good job.
Thank you.
You
Appreciate it.
got there
Yeah,
first.
It's awesome. Well, we blew through
Not
that.
at Jim Gaffigan level. I like that.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I have this thing with Jim Gaffigan because my wife's always watching like Jim Gaffigan stand-up specials, and I don't find him funny at all.
He's cute.
And I'm always bitching about it, and she's just like, and she gets real pissed off. So.
I saw him at that Broomfield Event Center, whatever the fuck it's called now. It's corporate sponsored now.
Oh yeah.
It's like credit card
Enron
First
and
thing.
Runfield.
I don't think of it. I drive by there all the time. I know it.
Yeah, that place. I saw him there, and we laughed. I went with my kid.
Yeah,
we
that's
laughed.
fine.
We laughed.
If you don't have a sense of humor, that's
Well,
your
no.
problem, I guess.
It's you get in the vibe. It's like watching bad live music.
Spe-
You're drunk enough.
Speaking of that, and we'll take a break. I think I told Drew this when we were walking in. My hair is getting real long, and I haven't had a haircut in a while, and I don't know if I was like pulling it back or something to get it out of the way. And my wife said to me just a while ago, she said, if you get a ponytail, I'm going to divorce you. And straight up. And I said, okay. And then I start thinking, you know what? I can be in one of those men's rights law firm commercials, and I can
With
have
your ponytail.
well, no. Here's what happens. So a kid will go, Dad, how come I don't see you very much? And I'll go, I don't know, son. I don't know. And I'll turn towards the camera and I'll have a ponytail, and then that'll be the reason why. Because the damn ponytail.
Throw back your Budweiser.
That's right. Yep. So anyway,
Dude, your ponytail would be gorgeous. It'd be a silver foxtail.
I'm gonna grow it out. I'll pull it all back. I'll be bald on top, and then I'll have the ponytail. So, listen, we'll think about the
George
ponytail.
Carlin one.
It is exactly, and then I'm gonna launch a new career as a George Carlin-esque comic. It'll be like Gallagher 2, George Carlin 2, George Carlin dose.
You pull that off.
I think so. Thanks. I think I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work on that. Let's get into the second half already. We got a bunch to talk about. We spent a lot of time talking about how right I was about the Stadium Series. Thank you very much. But let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Dude, we still haven't talked about Poland's 8th kid.
That's the hottest
Dude,
news
that
story.
is the best. I could not fucking believe that. I mean, I could, but I was like, oh my God, that's so fucking
How old's the
awesome.
kid?
She's the 5th in line.
So she's got to be like in her late 30s,
She's in her
early 40s.
late 30s, early 40s, yeah. She's kid 5, and her name is Alexandra Carey. And Alexandra is Beth
Elizabeth
Bolin Wallace's
III.
middle well, Alexandra, it's Beth Bolin Wallace's middle name. So
Oh,
she's
no.
her first name is his daughter's from his actual wife, her middle name.
Yeah,
Oh,
but
it's
the
fucking
baby
awesome.
mama had to
It's
name
fucking
that.
awesome. And
My
none of
buddy-
the kids knew about this kid.
My
It's
buddy
so
read your
fucking
column.
beautiful.
Huh?
And my buddy
I can't
read
wait
your
to watch
call.
this
Yeah.
movie.
And he
I
took
know.
Highway 83 down through
No, that's
Franklin.
what-
Frankie
that's what
Barger?
I'm saying.
Like,
That was one of the
like,
jokes I was
got there in an
working
hour.
on. I was working
I
on
saw
it.
some people thinking they were like,
Questions
maybe I
was
should do that. And I was
something
like, I
about,
think you
like,
probably
How
should.
can I work this into like a reality?
That's what I'm
show?
like.
Right.
I thought of
Like,
I thought of the.
I think that's the way to go when you go down there any
Beverly
fucking
Oh,
time.
fuck
Yeah.
that.
The last couple times
They're
I've gone
so
down,
white
because what I do is
trash.
I have to go down there. I
They're
have to go down.
so
for, like,
white
I just have to go down real quick, look at something, talk to somebody. So I'll go down. Like I won't
There
leave
are
till
white
like
trash
9:30 or
My
something. So
landlord
it's
is
cleared
here.
out. So it
No, my
hasn't been too
landlord's
bad.
Yeah.
But when I
She-
know there's going to be a
My
fucking
landlord is
massive
94,
volume,
and his
you know
wife
it's
is
going to be fucking
67,
bad, man.
And they're
I
so
fucking hate
just
trash.
And that was
so
and that was the
white
same
trash.
thing I heard from people. Like some people I know, they said, I had a great time at the Stadium Series. I don't know what I was talking about. I left at 1 o'clock. I was like,
guess
"Motherfucker."
what, asshole?
Yeah, I was like, dude, you fucking sat in your car and it was all muddy and shitty there. Where
Some
they
people got jobs, kids.
Yeah, it was like-
I was like,
I
That's
can't-
stupid
That's
decisions
the
they've
whole-
made in their lives.
like,
I don't know.
Jesus.
But you're exactly right. And the biggest thing is you need the rink closer to the seats. I mean, there's 40 feet of just.
That
Red
wasn't.
space.
That didn't
Well, they
seem.
put a jet in there.
I like Mosher's idea. Mosher's idea was you put in seating from the glass up,
Yeah.
and then in the bleachers you start so many rows up. So, but yeah, I mean, if you could be at an outdoor game and be right by the glass, that would be
What
fun.
if they put it on like one of those really slow rotating stages and like
Everyone gets a look.
Right.
Roger
like
Waters
those
is
freaky,
doing that.
performance artists that like do a 180 turn over the course of a day, but you never see them move.
Yeah, I don't know what the players. That's already confusing enough. I think the Avalanche will get fucking beat by the Red Wings in that.
Well, I mean, it was perfect that they looked so bad and played so bad because it probably put the nail in the coffin of that. People are gonna fuck
Well,
this.
we didn't talk about that. It was like, well, it was such a disaster, and like the guy dying. Like somebody said there was a pedestrian
Jumped
bridge
off a
and he
bridge?
jumped off. So I don't know if he thought like I'm gonna take another way down, or like he fell.
Yeah, was it like an accidental death? Or was it
Yeah.
just
Oh
like-
yeah. Totally.
oh,
Yeah. He like either jumped and didn't know it was real far, or he fell or something. But it's like that just fucking mars it from there. You know, it's like I had this fucking asshole, and there's another person too. When that column came out, of course I get all these people talking shit to me, and they're like, "Fuck you, you're an elitist." And I was like, "I'm an elite. Why am I an elitist?" And they're like, "Because you don't only think that
You're a fucking
from-
pragmatist.
if you're only from Denver." No, they were like, "If you're only from
Oh.
Denver, you're the only one who can enjoy an outdoor game." And I'm like, "No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying this is a terrible location."
Yeah.
You know, and of course I am an elitist. And
Well,
I
sure, but that's irrelevant to the
It's
question.
irrelevant to the question. And then one guy was yelling at me, and this other person was like, "I'm a." They worked at the Air Force Academy. They were like I think they were a cadet or something at one point. And they were like real high and mighty and calling me elitist and all this stuff. And then they're like, "I've never had a bad experience there, and I go to things all the time." I'm like, "Are you fucking high?" I'm like, if you go see Air Force Academy play a shitty football team, I'm guaranteed you could probably waltz out of there. But if you go to anything that's like maybe like, I don't know, CU plays down there or CSU plays down there, you're going to have a lot of crowds. And then, so of course, like someone was yelling at this person later, and I was kind of like, "Oh, do you take that back? This is elitist." And they're like, "Oh, of course not. I don't." And they were like, "We just left at the South Gate, and most new people don't know that." And I'm like, "Okay, probably fine. The South Gate is probably good." And then they started going in like, "Well, if a person dies, an inconvenience to you." And I was like, "Look, man, I'm like, now you're saying I'm like, upset somebody died, and that's, blah blah blah."
I don't always know exactly the moment I win the high ground, but
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
And I was like, "Have a good one, man." I was like, "I don't need to talk to you anymore. You're fucking." So that's the kind of
What that whole thing was an embarrassing shit show.
But I bet that it will be. It was 4 years probably since the last one. 4 years, and I mean, I thought, shit, when are they going to do this again? And it'll probably be at least that, maybe more. And who knows where they'll fucking put it. But think about it. Coors Field has mass transit all over. You get fucking light rail, any buses, whatever. There's
Proximity
multiple
of
exits. People can
attendees,
just people can just bust out of there and go all over the city and get out.
Yeah.
It's okay. Maybe do it over Mile High. Fuck, I don't know.
Do it at, well, Folsom would be cool, but they'd have the same shit with traffic.
That's probably a little tighter, I think. But
Where else?
you know what? But they're used to big crowds
Yeah,
and trying to get them out of there. So
dealt with it before.
oh, the Nuggets
Hey,
one.
Hey,
Wow.
check it out. The sponsors.
Taking that out.
I don't think I've had
My
this.
people.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever been to a game at Dodger Stadium?
No.
No, I've heard it's the same thing.
I have,
It
but I
is
was fucking 8.
The
I fucking hate the
dumbest
Dodgers.
fucking place
Somebody
to
just
get in
told
and
me
out
that.
of. Like the stadium itself is kind of dope when you get there, but like, and not only that, but the area right around it, there's like no cell service, and it's like
It's a cell
walk.
service in LA.
That's so the Dodgers fans can attack you and you can't call the
Yeah, they can
police.
fucking kill people.
if you want to walk out of Dodger Stadium and go to a bar, you got to walk 15,
2 hours.
20 minutes
Ugh.
before you get to the first bar you can find. And then it's like, one or two down that block. There's like nothing in the area. There's nothing within walking distance. The whole thing is sequestered off. There's one road in and out. It is a giant highway, but I stopped taking shots at Dodgers fans for showing up in the third inning once I realized
It's a pain in the
possible to
fucking
get
ass.
in and out of that.
That
fucking
makes
building.
sense.
It's like
We ready to rock?
I got lost, and literally Ian Desmond had to pick me up with his driver, and like literally.
No way.
Yeah. Actually, Ian Desmond picked me up with his driver. You could see I was like walking around sweaty. I was like, "Where am I going?" I was like, pull over, hop in the back. Just dropped in there. Got in there the night before. He just drove me up to where I was supposed to go.
It was nice of him.
And he's just like, "This place is fucking stupid." He's a really good guy. It's too bad he can't hit.
Oh,
Oh,
Drew, no, Drew.
poor Ian.
We're going to talk about that.
All right.
So I'm going to throw sports in on
Okay.
my own.
After.
I'll throw that in. So you just
Let
say
me do
sports.
a read, and then we'll all scream sports.
I
Exactly.
love screaming sports.
Little screaming sports.
The best parts
Um,
about coming on the show.
That's it. That's the only reason. That's your favorite. That's
Well,
it's
John-
in fourth.
John's
I'll put it in fourth.
fourth place. I got
Fourth
you.
place. It's screaming sports.
So we don't need any music. For
No.
This next thing.
Do the read, but then let's stop, and then I need to make a cut. It's easier for me to do it that way. So we'll just pause it, and then I'll tell you to start, and then we'll do sports. Okay, you ready?
Yeah,
Mic's up.
Mike's up. Sportique is where scooters come from, and springing forward is coming up March 8th.
Woo!
We're all going to
Yeah!
get warmed up, and we're all going to have nice light days until 7 o'clock at night. It's going to be fucking awesome. And you should be riding a scooter in the bike lanes. You should be parking a scooter on the sidewalk. You should be taking advantage of all of the benefits riding a 50cc scooter from Sportique will give you. 160 South Broadway, right there in the shadow of downtown Denver, about to celebrate 22 years in business.
Yeah.
Sportique. Come on in and tell them the South Stand sent you.
Hold up. All right, you guys ready for sports? Okay.
Sports!
I love hearing that. It's
I
so
love
good.
Denver
It's
sports.
so good.
That's why we're here.
That is why we're here.
Talk Denver sports.
It is why we're here and to talk Denver sports and
Drinking Mile High City Copper Lager from
I can't wait. I love a nice
Breckenridge
copper
Brewery.
lager. That's really good. I think it's awesome looking. And we've got a bona fide Rockies reporter here, and so that's why I want to take a moment to talk about the CU coaching search.
Right.
And
I could give a
Here,
fuck.
listen, here's what I want to say. So the CU coach, he bailed out and he lied and he went to Michigan State, and now they're looking for somebody else. Here's my statement on it. I want to give a hearty ha ha. That's a Nelson from The Simpsons. I want to give a ha ha to everyone out there who loves CU, you guys can suck a big dick. Fuck CU. I hope they never get a coach. I hope that they just
Suck
cancel the
it.
football program. And that's all I want to say about it. The rest of it can fuck off. We don't care about CU here, and we're not going to talk about it.
Also, follow DNVR Buffs.
if that offended you, go follow DNVR Buffs because
You'll
they'll
find a home
he'll find a home
with
there.
a small child.
Because you
that
will not
reinforces-
find a home here for CU bullshit. So let's see. So I rarely take notes, but I did talk about the ponytail, the CU coaching thing. While we've got a actual Rockies writer here, Drew, I know you're going to be diplomatic about this because you're a diplomatic fellow. You're a polite man. You don't want to rock the boat too much because I think you know where your meals are coming from. You don't want to. You don't want to alienate the Rockies because the Rockies are your bread and butter. You need to report on them. And so I'm not going to include you. I'm going to leave you out. And you have nothing to do with this when I say Jeff Bridich sucks ass.
Yeah,
Okay?
fuck Jeff
So
Bridich.
fuck him. And I think he needs to be fired.
He's a fucking asshole.
It's not even so much that because I think
From a PR perspective,
it's
you gotta get rid of it.
it's a fucking disaster. Now it's not even so much that I think they could trade Nolan Arenado, and if I didn't think they totally fuck it up, you could probably make it happen. You could probably make it work because
They're gonna make it happen.
as you and I have a bet, we made a bet a little while ago that I said that if he makes it to the point where he can opt out, he will opt out. Isn't that the bet? Wasn't that the bet?
See, now I got to remember now. I hope not because I'm starting to lean toward.
I think that was the bet, but
I still don't think he gets traded, but
I don't think he does either. But
I think it's a done deal.
So this was before the disrespectful comments.
this was before it. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have to.
I can
have
see
it
myself making that bet.
So that's fine. We'll go back and revisit that whenever something shakes loose. But I think okay, if you have to trade a top player. Obviously, he's an amazing player. He's the best third baseman in the game. You'd have to get a lot. You'd have to get a good haul for him. Which, like I said, I'm not convinced that they could because I don't think they know what they're doing. But just by the pure just alienating the player and making such a shit show, I just don't understand how the guy can keep his job. And it seems like he's really poisoning the well, if you will. So, Drew, please comment on what you feel comfortable commenting on.
Wow, yeah, I cannot disagree that this is an absolute public relations disaster.
It is.
And one of the difficulties about something like this, in my diplomatic tone that you
Understood.
suggested, is that we don't know all of the details about how this happened, why particularly, specifically Nolan Arenado is upset. There's a lot of speculation, but frankly, we don't know the exact reasons, and he hasn't told us. But I think that, some of the more recent comments do suggest they all
we know
recognize-
the reason. Fucking that guy is a dickhead.
Well, hold on. Yes, but I think the thing that started
He's an
it-
asshole and he's mean to people and they don't like
and
him.
I'll let you take it back in a second. I think Nolan thought, hey, we had a bad year this last year, but we were on to something. Maybe we can build off it. They didn't do anything.
Jeff Bridich is mean and he doesn't
He's
like
mean,
me.
but I think that's what started it. And then when the trade rumors started and all this stuff, and then he felt disrespected. I think that's probably what sparked it. And I think the main thing is that he probably thought they were going to maybe make some moves.
I think all of this is a part of
Sure.
the soup.
Again, not a hard call to
That
make,
has
like
been-
like
right.
Colorado Springs.
Yeah, I do think people have, and there were decisions in the past he's not especially happy about too. But I think to play the bad guy to some degree, it's really easy to side with Nolan Arenado, but it's also really easy to forget that he's not a GM.
Sure.
He's a third baseman. Maybe the best ever.
He's
really good
He's
at
not a third baseman.
He's maybe the best
He's
ever,
the third baseman.
but
He's easily the best player that's ever played in a Colorado Rockies uniform.
I think that's probably true. It's either him or Larry Walker. I mean, Tulo, there was a time By the way, I could wax poetic.
Chulo's
about
done some
helping
awesome
Troy
shit.
Tulowitzki.
Dude, I've seen it. I've
In
seen
his
it in my too.
prime.
He
Recency-
doesn't hold a candle to Nolan.
Recency bias. Nolan's the best, right? What we've seen the last
His,
5
by the
his
end of his
defensive
career-
play as a third baseman is other fucking worldly.
The funny thing about the Nolan Arenado thing is, like, there's debate about it, but like, if you want to ask, like, who are the greatest third basemen of all time? So start asking the other people who were in that question. People like Mike Schmidt, Brooks Robinson. They're like, that's Nolan Arenado. Like, that kind of hushes that
Yeah.
conversation down a little
Yeah.
bit. Like, it's probably this guy. And that's why 99.9% of people are siding with Nolan Arenado. And if you're viewing it Jeff Bridich versus Nolan, that's an easy.
It's easy because Nolan is loved. Everyone loves him. He's you see him and you cheer for him every day. Jeff Bridich is the little rat that you see scurrying around that nobody likes. And it's like, okay, maybe there's always two sides to a story, obviously. But when you're not going to be given the benefit of the doubt, you need to do a few things to
That's
ease the
I
tension.
think Jeff Bridich's biggest mistakes have been an unwillingness to explain himself. Because I actually think that from an on-field perspective, he's figured some things out. He's a little bit ahead of the curve when it comes to how the Rockies need to uniquely build. And I don't think it's an accident that he took over as GM and then a couple of years later the team went to back-to-back postseasons. And if they go again, and I actually do think that they've got the talent to, and I think it's part of the reason why Nolan Arenado has come out recently. Like, he's down in camp, he's looking around. It's like, man, Trevor Story's good. Like, Charlie Blackmon can play. Man, David Dahl is. I don't know if you've seen the Instagram pictures.
No.
The guy is shredded.
David Dahl.
And it's like,
so
I get
hot.
he's got to look. I'm not saying I got to work with the young man, and he's well married. He's married to the woman who does, all the work for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
I'm not gay, but
But-
if I were,
But I could learn.
had to.
Look, David's got all of the tools a baseball player needs to have. That's what I'm trying to say. And
he's a
Do
five-tool player.
you think that now he's in camp and he's like, fuck, I don't want to answer this every goddamn day too. That's
Yep.
probably part of it. It's like
Yep.
I need to back off. He said I don't want to complain anymore or something like that. And he probably realizes I'm going to get asked about this every fucking day
Right.
from here on out.
well, and not only that, I mean,
When Drew comes down, I'm
That's
never
right.
going to hear the goddamn end of
It's
it.
just- he's going to be all up in my face about it. I mean, the team goes on a bad stretch for a week in the season at any point. Everyone's going to be looking at Nolan. Are you pissed? You want out?
Mhm.
Is it over? Are you done? And so
What's he like?
he's an interesting guy. Like, he's a really, I think he has like a supreme focus on the game of baseball. Like, he's a pleasant person to be around. He's very like forthright.
Confident, cocky.
Not as confident and cocky as you might think for somebody who's that good. Like, he's got a little bit more shiftiness about it, a little more like unsuredness. I've actually long believed that one of the reasons why he's so good in the clutch is that he's got a slight, I don't know what the right words are, and it's weird to speculate about this, but I feel like I have some of this at a very much lower level, right? But it's like an anxiety or an ADHD, a very mild form of like, he's great with the media, he's great with us, but there's also a sense of like, home is in the batter's box around at third base. That's the only place where he's fully centered as a human being. And the higher the tension, the more focused that guy gets. And so, yeah, he's a really interesting guy. I think he can be an up and down guy. He can be a bit emotional. We've seen him after bad losses. We've seen him out on the diamond, yelling at Nick Hundley for calling a stupid pitch and his guy getting taken yard in San Diego, and then the team went on a run. We saw him swinging at Luis Perdomo after
Sweet.
coming up.
I'm
And
getting excited now.
Nolan, and this is part of the reason why, and maybe I've watched too many sports movies, but part of the reason why I believe in the heartbeat of a team. And the heartbeat of the team last year was just way too, just kind of, we expect to get back. We added Murphy, we lost DJ, so we're a little, but we expect to get back and we should hit better. And this is the team and it all blew up in their faces. They had no fire, they had no anger. Nolan wasn't used to leading because Carlos Gonzalez had been there for 172 years. And so Now Nolan comes in realizing two things. I have to lead, and I'm sick of this shit. And like, I think there's a chance. I see some of these pictures of him coming out these first couple of days in camp, the biggest smile he's ever had on his face in his life. And it's like, this guy's going to hit 412 for the first month and a half of the season.
I think he is. I think he is too. I think
He's
going to
go nuts. And the team is going to feel the heartbeat of it. This is not a group of guys, quite frankly. Like,
So you think this is a good thing
I
for the
think this-
Colorado Rockies?
Jeff Bryden
This
is a
year.
genius.
God damn, Bryden.
You ever seen Major League? I think there's a 30% chance that they do turn whatever anger or angst or frustrations they have, and they all start looking at each other and go, and let me even put it this way. He's not going to do it for us. He's not going to give us any help. They're not going to help us upstairs.
Yeah.
They're not helping. It's up to us.
They're
So
too busy building another party deck.
Right. Whatever they got to say to themselves. But fundamentally, a group led by an angry and focused Nolan Arenado, backed up by Trevor Story, who's starting to get himself into the conversation of one of the best who's played that position. Charlie Blackmon, who continues to be one of the best 20 hitters in baseball. David Dahl, who's got legitimate superstar written all over him. Ryan McMahon, who I think is going to take the next step. Herman Marquez and John Gray are the two best strikeout artists in franchise history. I'm just saying.
I was going to say too low there.
They got a little too low.
Let's go Rockies. God damn.
No, he's getting
Now I'm
pumped.
feeling fired up. And I was really depressed about this to the point where I was like, I'm looking at not World Series, opening day.
Yeah.
That's our equivalent.
It is our World Series, yes.
Opening
That's a good point.
opening day tickets. I'm looking today and I'm like, okay, they're sold out already. And, so that means secondary market. I'm going to have to pay, somewhere around $100 a piece.
Are they
just for
sold out already?
Nosebleeds, they're sold out.
Wow. I wouldn't know. I sit on the club level.
Oh, that's
I don't know if you guys knew.
Yeah.
I'll wave to you, Drew. I'll be like, hello.
Yeah.
You
I
can see me.
just sat floor seats for Nuggets, so
Oh, man. That's
so
fun,
you
too.
club level people are nothing to me.
That's
I pissed at a urinal. This is true.
story.
Down in the Lexus Club,
Mhm.
right next to Wellington Webb.
Nice.
I
Did you
pissed
take a
next
peek?
to Wellington.
Did you take a peek?
I didn't have to. I knew.
You just
I knew. I knew. That
I
thing
know.
is
I sat.
that thing is
I sat.
legendary.
I saw where you're sitting because I know Scott got a picture of it, and I saw where you're sitting. It was really good. I sat the next row back from there one time, and it
Yeah,
was
I'll bet
it,
you did.
it was incredible. It was incredible.
The guy I was with, Johnny from Cochino Tacos over here, he took me for being their best customer, which is really not a good thing. He
Hey,
he
you
got-
drunk fatty! Come on now. Let me take you
Drunk
again.
fatty. I'm gonna sit you in this child chair made for a child, right next to Tim Duncan,
That's
and
awesome.
Johnny got 2 rebounds
Oh, nice.
from bouncing off the court.
Did he
And,
keep the ball?
So
Did
at
he
the
keep
end of the game, I was really excited because
It's like baseball.
the
Yeah.
Nuggets won,
it?
and I literally ran onto the court. I shit you not, dude. Johnny was buying me shots of
Tackled by
tequila
Steve
the
Hess.
whole night. I was housed. By the time this thing was over, I was fucking done.
Oh.
And
We knew that.
and I jump up and I ran out onto the court. And security grabbed me. Two giant security guys grabbed me and they pulled me off the court. My feet left the ground. They were like, "Sir, you cannot do that." And I was like, I just got caught up in the emotion of the moment. I'm sorry.
Really? This sounds like you're making it up.
No, it's
No, but
true.
you're not
No,
making
it's
it up.
true.
I know you're not.
I fucking did this.
Wow.
It was stupid. I jumped out of my seat and started running towards center court, and I got grabbed and
That is
thrown
fucking
backwards.
Where did you guys come down on that guy who tackled the streaker once he jumped back at the Coors Field, the Rockies game? It was a couple of years ago. Guy was running on the field, actually managed to avoid security,
He
jumped
did
the barrier back into the stands, was going up
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
stairs,
Oh,
and another fan just trucked that dude.
Don't truck him.
Total
Let him
bullshit,
go.
yeah.
Oh, I was
Let him
so in favor of trucking him.
Really?
Yeah, I loved it.
I'm usually
I
pro
loved it.
truck.
I think it's like the Running Man. If you can make it beyond the barrier, you earned it.
You can see the light.
Yeah, you earned it. You should be able to get out.
Smell free air.
Because you know what, he's not going to make it because somebody's going to catch him up top.
Good
anyway.
point. Yeah.
So, well, let's do this. We got to take a break, but we're going to go overtime. We got to go another one. We got plenty to talk about, right, Colin? Don't you have some things to talk about?
I got shit.
We got some shit. So let's take a quick break, and then we'll be back. We'll do another quick like 15 minutes.
Well, isn't it just now fourth quarter? I mean, we're getting into the fourth quarter, right?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is just the third quarter.
Oh, we went
yeah.
way over. We went way over the third. That's what it was. See, everyone's getting buzzed, drinking beers and shit, having a good
It was a
time.
very inspiring halftime speech.
Yeah, thank you. So let's take a quick break. We'll get into the fourth. Sorry, not overtime. All of the shows we go along. Fourth quarter. We'll be right back. I don't have my headphones on.
This is for you. You can't even hear it. You know the song Bike Lane?
You got the mics off?
Bike lane.
Yeah. Stephen Malcolmus?
That's fantastic.
What's that?
Oh, Stephen Malcolmus has a song called Bike Lane, and every time I hear it, I'm like, fuck, I gotta play that for
All
college.
right, so this is not live, but that is right.
That's
So
live.
anyone watching that can hear me, but not this.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you say
So
something,
yeah, I was talking to a guy the other day. I
there's
was
a
like,
couple people watching.
Those people are
Oh, Snyder
chef's
on
kiss.
there?
All right,
Oh, Snyder.
you're deserving. So I was talking to somebody on the phone last night. Somebody called me who knows a bunch of stuff. Called me because of my tweet about KOA where I showed the
Oh, yeah.
rock falling down the hill. Yeah, the person called me and they're like, "Hey, this was funny, really funny tweet." And I said,
it sounds
So,
like J-Lo.
where's
Hey,
your
real
family
funny
right
tweet.
now? Yeah, that was funny.
so I asked straight up. I was like, "So, honest to God, what do they pay Big Al?" I was $500,000. He goes, "Oh, more." I was like, are you fucking kidding me? How much more? I'm not gonna tell you. Just more. Really? KOA is paying Big Al
You know
more
what?
than $500,000?
Listen, I don't. By all accounts, supposed to be a really nice guy, and I wouldn't want to be in that position because think about it. He's like going, "Oh my god, I'm getting paid all this." I mean, I'm sure he's fine with the money, but that would suck because you'd just be like, I'm just at the helm
I
of this
ruined
sinking
the station.
ship. Yeah.
It's awful. It's awful.
Oh, I know this girl. She does radio sales and advertising and shit. She said the old CEO or CFO or one of them, that guy Tim Hager. I guess he just drove KOA into the ground too. He's probably the one that made all these changes. He got fired, but I mean,
They underestimated the fact that they are
I think
the
that-
Rush Limbaugh
Yeah,
station.
he's African American. I mean, that's
Was
the
that
other
why
thing
people
too.
like
It's
us?
you hear more
The
about it
Jerry
than me. but
Schemmel thing was a
Did
big
anybody
stupid-
bring
Oh. Oh God, that's horrible.
Did anybody bring that shit up about Mel Tucker? Like, I mean, to be black in Boulder, you're fucked. Like, you get pulled over, you get followed around in stores.
Yeah,
like,
he should have just said, "Hey,
bad,
you fucking racist
bad.
Boulder
Yeah.
assholes! I don't want to fucking be a part of this shit."
West Lansing, Michigan. That'll make it.
No, they doubled the salary.
Yeah, maybe a step down
Yeah.
race relations.
Dude, you seriously think he's gonna go to fucking Missouri or is it Michigan?
Michigan
You
State.
think he's gonna go to Michigan and encounter less racism than Boulder? I don't think so.
I think he's got more numbers though. He's got more people on his
love
side.
football team there. They'll probably be like, the cops will be like, okay, see that black guy? Arrest him. That black guy, don't arrest him.
You can get vegan racism in Boulder.
This dude was like, I was listening to
Zero carb racism in Boulder. is what you-
I was listening to this radio. It was like KGNU one morning. They had people in jail talking about their good business ideas. And this guy's like, there's not one black barber shop in Boulder. He's like, I want to just get like a food truck style thing and just somewhere where black people can get their
Robert
fucking
Cup
hair done.
line,
in
yeah.
Shit,
Boulder.
all the football players would fucking
Yeah,
go
it's just
there.
like, I mean, by all accounts, like there's no
I'm
fucking
gonna
black
open
people
that.
in Boulder.
I know, right?
This guy's in
I have
jail,
curly
dude.
hair.
But dude is in jail. Like he can't stop
That's
you.
right. You can't stop me. He'll come kill
His
me.
ideas pre-game. He
What's
went
he in
on the
jail
radio.
for? That's
Oh, yeah.
Tell him, what's he in jail for?
Let's get a little more information. Before
Yeah, if he's in jail for murder, or like
Someone
maybe
stole one of his ideas. I think is what he said.
somebody stole my idea back in '82 and I killed him. Like, damn it.
Yeah. The fishbone. You fly in the buttermilk. They chase you through the night.
Is that Fishbone? I saw Fishbone a bunch of times.
They were fucking so bad.
They fucking blew my ass away. I saw them. I think the very first time I saw them, shit. I mean, I was probably 14 or 15, and I just was like, "Holy shit!" They just fucking rocked.
Yeah, they were. I was with all the Shoreline guys one time at Sound Warehouse, and I mean, I'm like a 6th grader. We go in there and we're looking at albums, and they're like, "Oh, this album's the shit," and I'm just like, "I'm just gonna buy that album." Like, I haven't even heard of those guys. It was their first album. I've listened to that fucking thing a trillion times.
Oh, that's a great album.
It's so good.
And
Angelo's a great frontman. I mean, he
AJ
is
says the Avs are looking to pick up a goaltender.
Yeah, I saw that too, and I was like, I guess that just depends on how hurt Grubauer is.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they think he's a little more.
Which also fucks my fantasy team. Which call
Oh,
back.
you've got Grooves on your fantasy team?
There,
I
you
do.
go. There's Colin. I'm just saying.
And when he's healthy, he's
Short man,
good.
right.
But I also have Elvis Merzlikins.
These are good.
Did you ever try that Breckenridge Broncos shit they made a couple years ago?
Is it
I
good?
didn't try it. I bought
It's
something.
so bad. I was buying beer going to a game or something, somebody's house to watch it. I'm like, why is this 12-pack like $7 fucking bucks? And like everybody was kind of showing up and they all had them. We're like, this is, I think they tried to make it like orange flavor or something, but it was
Oh yeah,
awful.
fuck that, dude.
I think
Oh,
my
God.
buddy still has a couple of his
Citrus
fridge
beer,
in the
Orange
garage.
flavored beer is really
Fruit
gross.
beer is bullshit.
I don't, it's a lot of those New Belgian ones. They make the Voodoo Ranger. A lot of those. Some
That
of those.
Voodoo Ranger's okay.
Voodoo Ranger's good. I've been drinking those. They've got the American, what the fuck's it called? American something? American Haze.
Oh,
That's fucking good as shit, man. It's really good. And that's got a little citrus to it, but it's not like drinking a fucking apricot fucking IPA that like Captain Bronco drinks.
You know what I like is Lagunitas.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
They sell
That's a
big
solid beer.
cans of that at Coors Field.
Oh, they do.
Mm-hmm. Like the big old can.
The big old can is I've been meaning to do a article on this per venue, what the best value per ounce on beer is, and yeah, the 24-ounce can is the best value per ounce.
Love the 24-ounce can.
Yeah, in my tribute to Kobe Bryant during the All-Star game was I drank 8 24-ounce Coors Lights.
Did
I
you
think
really?
24 8 ounce.
Did you actually drink them? That's a lot of beer.
No, I didn't actually do that. That was just a joke.
But I mean, you could have.
Yeah. All right, so I got to do a read for Sobo Liquors.
Okay, let me figure out the next song.
Hey, where's my alcohol? Let's have some alcohol.
Did you
in there.
add the mascara to the Jim Morrison, or did you buy it because of the mascara? Because that's just
Oh, dude, we found that in the alley. It's the greatest thing I've ever found in my entire
Yeah,
life.
that's fantastic.
Actually, one of my mechanics, Preston, found it, and he hung it downstairs. And I was like, Preston, can I have that? And he was like, yeah, I guess.
Did I had an autographed Semyon Varlamov picture, and I thought I brought it here because I can't
No,
find it at
you
my
did not
house.
bring it.
I can't find it anymore. I don't know where the fuck it went. I was gonna bust it out. last night.
Barley.
Got
You got your song queued up there,
Got him
bro?
last
Yeah,
night,
I'm
or
just trying to
at
figure
four.
out.
Oh no, it was last night. Yeah,
What
they
are
got
you
it. I
gonna
got it
read
good. I was
for the
worried. I
liquor
thought
store?
he
He
was
shut
gonna.
him out the
Cross?
game before,
Oh
right?
yeah. That's normal for him.
It's hilarious that just having my Avs history start like 4 months ago. It's like I know that he was the goalie before, but I just have zero attachment to him as an Av. Or like these other people that show up. People are like, yeah, he was on the team last year. I'm like, who? All right, cool, okay.
Yeah, like just
Is he a
last
good
year
guy?
he was the
Should I
goal.
like him?
Yeah.
Should I hate him?
Yeah, no,
Let it go.
he thumped his
But you
wife
know what?
good.
He played for a lot of bad teams, and he was very good
Yeah,
for a lot of bad
Hell of a
teams.
good games.
But,
He
I
also
got a soft
fucked up
spot in my
some
heart
time
for those players in all sports, man. Great players on shit teams.
That to fucking play well, yeah.
That explains your passion for Nolan.
I fucking love it. Dude. Like Tony Gwynn played for the San Diego Padres for like 19
They
years.
were awful.
Made the
Who
postseason
was
like
the
twice.
shortstop on the Orioles?
Cal Ripken
Ripken
Jr. Yeah, he's make the postseason 3 times in 20 fucking years.
No, we don't have Cal.
90s baseball.
That's what I was
postseason
pointing to
best.
Griffey for though, because when Griffey fucking left, he's like, "I'd like to be traded to the Reds."
Yeah.
And the Reds are like, "Well, I have this."
yeah.
Like, I mean,
Like, yeah.
he just said, "I will only go to the Reds."
Yeah.
So the Reds are like, "We're not giving you shit. We're gonna
Really?
get Griffey." Yeah.
What the fuck do you want to go to the Reds for?
His dad played for him. He had
Yeah.
family there. There was a whole it's like, dude.
The Reds haven't been
Yeah.
good since
He's
the fucking
literally,
70s.
you know how in sports that fucking every time somebody wants to play somewhere else, people go, "Who's going to go home?" No one's going to go to California. KD was going to go play in Washington, whatever the hell else, and it never happens. 95% of the time, the guys never go home. They go
No.
to whatever team pays them the most.
That's what I want to ask you about real quick. With Nolan, I mean, do you think he's just looking at DJ just like, what the fuck did I do?
No, I think.
DJ is, I mean,
Oh
he's
yeah.
probably going to get a ring, and he's kicking ass.
Well, and the
man.
other thing that these guys are figuring out, which like really screws the Rockies, and I think they can't get that DH soon enough, is their numbers get fucked, and they're starting to realize that. Like they get really screwed by playing at Coors Field because their home numbers go way up,
Right.
but no one believes them because it's Coors, and their road numbers go in the toilet. And what we're starting to see is these guys leave. Anyone who leaves in the middle of their prime, it balances out. But the lack of inconsistency from this shit all season long leads to DJ LeMahieu hitting 370 with 30 home runs because he doesn't have to deal with a massive difference in the way pitches move at home and on the road.
And he has just protection. His
So
protection in the line.
Oh, Nolan
God, we're
leaves-
doomed. We'll never be
if
good.
Nolan leaves in his prime and was to go play for the Red Sox or the Yankees, not the Dodgers, like they've got like it's tough to hit them. But if he were to go play for the Red Sox or the Yankees, Nolan Arenado would put up obscene numbers. He'd hit 55 home runs, 330. Like I mean, it'd
Oh,
it'd
he
make
would
you
be
sick to your
beyond
stomach.
the beyond. All right. So
All right.
You guys ready?
Oh God, this is depressing. All right, I'm gonna do a read.
yeah.
You got music after that?
Yep, I got the music for that.
Right,
It might be a little clunky, but we got to do it.
I'm ready when you are. Are you ready?
Yep. We are very, very proud to be sponsored by Mark Rycroft's Sobo Liquors right there at the corner of Broadway
That's a hockey player,
and
Drew.
Evans. Hockey player, host at Altitude TV, all around great guy, and proprietor of Sobo Liquors. They've got a drive-through, and you're likely to see Riker right there serving you your beers up or your wine or your spirits. They, it's a high-end place. They cater to a high-end clientele, and it's it's a catered selection. He really knows what he's doing there. He's devoted. He's passionate. Great small business owner and a great guy. Mark Rycroft, Sobo Liquors. Go down there, buy some Mile High City Breckenridge Brew, sponsors of DNVR, and tell them the South Stand sent you, won't you? Please, that would be great.
Oh. What? Yeah, what's his name? Died.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I danced to this high off my gourd many, many times. Here it comes. Dance floor would just be fucking packed to this,
Mhm.
dude. People fucking. What's his name? Weatherall?
Yeah.
Andrew Weatherall
Yep. That's it.
produced this. The Scream. One of the best shows I've ever seen. You know Primal Scream, Drew?
Yeah, sure. Not well, but of.
Primal Scream played a show at the Bluebird, and I think it was Exterminator. You know, Exterminator came out. Exterminator is probably one of their last albums, I
Okay.
think, but a great album. And they kind of came on, started playing, and everyone was just kind of like, all right, it's cool, whatever. And I don't know if it was just me or it was just what happened, but I brought out a huge doobie. I had a huge joint. And I was like, we need to spark this fucking doobie. So he starts smoking this joint, right? And we're just huffing this fucking doobie. And we just start passing around because it's so big. It was just like nobody could smoke all of it. So it just starts making the rounds all around. And it was like magically, the band just started grooving and everyone started getting into it. And it just fucking turned into the greatest show I've ever seen. It was so much
It's funny
fucking-
how that works.
It was
right?
great. And I was like, was it the weed? I mean, what happened? What happened here? Did the audience loosen up? Everyone in that area loosen up, and the band just fucking went, all right, now we're on. And they just fucking ripped it up. It was so good after that. This is such a jam. Love this song. And then we all were at Streets of London, and then Manny, who was the bass player of the Stone Roses and Primal Scream, he was trying to score crack.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Someone's like, he's trying to get some crack, and everyone's like, I'm sure you can find it, you know, but it's good stuff.
So in Narcos Mexico, there's a scene in one episode where
Segway.
these big African American gentlemen with cornrows from New York are in Bogota or whatever, and they're like, check it out. We learned how to take this coke and make this stuff out of it, and I learned from this scene that the reason it's called crack is it crackles while you're smoking it. And I did not know that. I never knew that before. And he's like, see, that's why we call it crack. And this narco dude is like, he's loving it. He's like, this shit's awesome. Just to hear how it crackles, that's why we call it crack. And that's why they called it crack. And I found that very educational.
Listen, if you're smoking crack and you're proclaiming this shit is awesome, then guess what? It's not gonna be awesome for long.
No,
You're gonna
no,
you're not gonna find a happy ending with that.
no. And I happen to know that firsthand. I spent a couple months one summer finding ways to rock up cocaine.
Wait, how did you not know it was crack? Because I thought you didn't know because you never heard it crackle. You heard it crackle?
I didn't know that's why they called it crack. We called it foilies. Foilies. Did you ever do a foilie?
No.
No, you didn't ever. Did Bronco Jeff, did you ever do a foilie?
No, I've never done any form of cocaine. But
No.
I'm glad you're bringing this up because somebody came over to my house years ago when they had like some.
You're
earwax
real
or-
low. Are you on?
Oh, am I on? Can you hear me
There,
better?
that's
Yeah,
better.
Okay, so a friend of mine came over.
Let's hear your cocaine chat,
here's-
Robert
here's-
Jeff.
no, here's my
Yeah,
backstory.
bring it up a little bit.
This is a monkey off my back because a buddy of mine brought over some it was called shatter or earwax or something.
Oh, yeah,
some
yeah.
form
That's
of
weed.
Right.
And he put it in a pipe and we lit it and it started crackling. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I feel like I'm smoking crack right now. And I'm like,
You're freebasing
I'm
marijuana.
like, my question is, do they call crack because it crackles when you smoke it? Because this shit's crackling. And I just, for the first time, got my answer. Thank you, Colin.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That's-
You're very, very
So do I
welcome.
get to tell my cocaine story?
Yeah,
Oh,
please, please do.
So you weren't expecting that. were you?
I kind of was. I was kind of.
Now, back in my music playing days, it was not uncommon to go out and play music at a open mic and meet friends at a
Sure.
bar, and everyone buys each other whiskey. And I happen to live nearby this particular bar, and a bunch of musicians came back to my house, and we're jamming around. And next thing I know, there are events taking place in my home.
yeah.
And I was just, that's the only time I've come in contact with it. I saw
That smell
There was
is.
a
Were they
drummer-
smoking or
We're
snorting?
doing long.
they were lines.
Okay. If you've ever smelled the smell of somebody smoking it, it's a
That's-
smell you'll never forget.
I've told the story here how me and Chris Perry were in the porno booth in Las Vegas, and like we were waiting for somebody else to finish, and we were standing out there, and all of a sudden this guy's like, "Hey, motherfucker, get out of here!" We're like, what the fuck? He's like, "That guy's smoking crack in there," and you can kind of smell it. It like has like kind of a chemical.
It's a horrible
Yeah,
smell.
yeah. So he was in there whacking off the porn and smoking crack at the same time
Wow, at least the drummer at my house had the courtesy
to keep it in his pants.
just keep it in his pants.
The
Snort with
the
you.
only and I've avoided cocaine.
Of course, it was a drummer, by the way.
Okay,
I
drummer-
think that detail was
Yeah,
important.
you didn't need to say
Yeah,
it
for
was,
sure.
it was the drummer. We all knew that. The only experience I've had with cocaine is I had some people who were smoking weed. Okay, Bronco Jeff, where your office is used to be the Norman's Teen Club, the New Wave Club. That's where
That's right.
And so on the balcony, no, maybe it was outside. Somebody was smoking weed, and they said this weed has cocaine on it, and they were smoking weed. And
Snow cap.
in a snow cap, and I was like, okay. And I said, can I have the what? And so they blew their exhale into my mouth. So I was taking their exhale because I wasn't going to smoke their weed.
Secondhand coke smoke.
Secondhand
Shotgun.
coke smoke, and got me real high, and it was quite an experience. And then the only other time I was in a bathroom with some people that you know real well, and
Go to the bathroom.
and I was like, they were doing coke, and I said, I don't want to. I said, I don't want to do any coke. I'm not interested in doing coke, but I would like to put some in my lip. And so I put a little in my gum just to feel what it looked like. And they let me do that. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. And I remember saying, if it feels like this, I can't imagine what it feels like going up your nose. But I still never did it. I still never did it.
Good for you.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, it's not good. Speaking of things you do that you know are bad for you,
Yes.
I'm thinking about going to opening day.
Yeah.
And
That's not bad.
we were talking earlier about how it's sold out. I don't know, man. Am I going to pay $100 a ticket to go this year?
Probably.
Drew, is it
Yeah.
worth it? I mean, with all of the drama preseason, going into training camp and going into spring training, I'm nervous about it, man. I don't know.
Wait. Why are you nervous about going and having a great experience for the beginning of baseball? Now the
Because
season.
I know I'm going to give them so much money.
I mean, that's just the given. Now you either have to go, and I'm sorry, Drew. I'll let you chime in, but you're either going to be in to an extent and going, all right, I want to follow, see what they do. If they can put something together, cool. You're either in or you're out at this point. And going to opening day is basically saying, hey, I'm in until otherwise notified. So why not go? Why not go and enjoy the bringing back of baseball to Denver?
Sure. Yeah. No, I agree with all of that. But I think, you don't want to watch. It's like we've had the greatest, most insane pilot episode in the history of the Colorado Rockies. Like, you don't want to see episode 2 of this. You have to be there.
You got to see it.
You got to be there. And not only that, like, look, there are 2 ways this goes, Colin, and you need to see either of them. Either one, it turns into the biggest shitstorm the Colorado Rockies have ever experienced. They're playing bad. Nolan's pissed. He's asking for trades. Maybe the GM gets fired. Maybe he doesn't. Everyone's mad at Dick Monfort. Everyone's mad at everybody. And the whole thing burns to the ground, and they say we got to start all over again. That'll at least be interesting. It'll suck, but that's one way this could go.
You know I've got Dick in my phone, right?
Hey,
I know you got Dick on your phone. I've seen your phone.
I was going to leave that where it lies.
Dick
so
Monfort is a contact in my phone. I'm that lucky, and I'm not
sent
lying.
from his iPad.
I am not kidding. I have exchanged text messages with Dick
See,
Monfort.
Phil, come on.
He's right
He
though.
was.
He's right though. Look, I am now a White Sox fan. I've abandoned the Rockies. Don't get me wrong. I've said fuck
We're
you.
aware of your.
No, I haven't.
Managed to go to one of the organizations in baseball who's actually worse than the Colorado.
Yeah, they're
It's
pretty
impressive.
bad. They're pretty bad. But I was hoping Nolan was going to get traded to him. That one guy kept saying, "Oh, I have inside information."
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's his name?
MLB Intel.
No, but then what's his name called himself the MLB incel.
Incel.
I was like,
BK. that's
BK.
all.
Yeah. Brian said that. So it could. You're absolutely right. It could be a total shit show. It could be good. I think you know what. If you've been with the Rockies this whole time, you need to stay with the Rockies and you need to sign on and welcome the deluge of feces that are going to either hit your face or miss your face. And you have to be there for it, Colin. So I think you should go. You don't have to go again for the rest of the season. You could just spend your money
Just
now.
make sure you're there for opening
It's
day.
opening day is fucking awesome. It really
Oh,
is.
it is the best.
It's just such a good vibe.
I think it's the best sporting event in Denver this side of a Broncos playoff game.
I think you're right. What else we got? We can get out of here.
Well, okay. AT&T Sportsnet opted not to sell. That's a bummer. Apparently this week they announced they are not going to sell their networks. They're holding out for more money. And I tweeted, I wonder if KSE made a play for Rocky Mountain Sportsnet, and somebody from there liked the tweet, and I kind of wonder if maybe it wasn't on the table, because if Altitude, KSE's network locally, had 4 teams or 3 teams represented and a 365 package with the Rockies, that would be really, really good. That would be really, really good. And my theory is, without knowing this for sure, that Altitude did make a play for AT&T Sportsnet, which would have played into their negotiations with Comcast. Would have been really interesting, because then they would have had year-round network coverage. And so that's sad to me that didn't happen. That would have been awesome. I wanted to comment on the NFL expanded playoffs. They're talking about a new setup that would have 3 wildcard games instead of 2, which would be awesome.
Which is great for gambling. I did
Would
see
have
that,
been
and
great for gambling.
it's like the XFL though. Like I just don't want to hear anything about football right now. I want to know about hockey. I want to know about baseball. I want to know a little bit about the NBA.
How dare you besmirch the sacred name of the XFL?
I am sorry. I am not. I don't care about it. I do not care.
I've glanced at it, but mostly I agree. And the last thing I had here on my list was Drew's off the rails article about the MLB this year. I saw you got lots of feedback about how this year in the MLB it's going to be off the rails. I wanted you to comment on that.
It's gonna get crazy out there.
Wait, are you talking cocaine rails or are you talking about train rails?
I'm
Okay,
talking
just make sure.
Houston Astros are gonna get thrown out, have a brawl once a week.
Fuck yeah.
These guys really thought they could get away with it. These
Some bullshit.
assholes, like it is. And then Rob Manfred really thought he could get away with
He's a
these
fucking
weak
douchebag.
ass penalties. Like it's gonna get crazy out there.
It's going to get cracked.
Shouldn't they just go like this? Shouldn't they just go, hey, look, we know you're going to throw at these guys. We're going to give you one shot at each
Not miss
player.
a chance to blow this opportunity.
Don't hit him in the head. No head shots. We will not
Chin
tolerate
music.
any head shots. But you know what? You're going to plunk those guys in their big, thick asses. You can plunk them. You can plunk. Everybody gets one plunk on a player, on an Astros player who was on the roster, right? Isn't that fair?
That's 100%. And I've been doing this. I'm going into like year 7 now. And when you ask a guy like, look, I will tell you right now, like Clayton Kershaw's a whiny baby, and no one likes him.
Yep.
But when I ask Nolan Arenado, Charlie Blackmon, you got Clayton Kershaw tonight. He's one of the best in the world. This guy knows what it takes. He's a real competitor. We got to take it to him. We got to be on our best tonight. The fraternity of baseball demands that these guys do not shit talk each other.
Yeah.
That is not the way they operate. It is not in their DNA to come out. And Cody Bellinger said, and I'm going to give a direct quote. I feel like I get one big F-bomb per appearance on the South Stance.
Fuck yeah, you
I feel
do.
like I got to get exactly right. Cody Bellinger said of Carlos Correa, I hope I hit a line drive and hit him in his ugly fucking face.
I didn't know he said that.
Like, what? Like, baseball players don't talk like this.
They're pissed.
Ever.
They're pissed.
Pissed.
They're real pissed.
And the Astros done stepped in it, and the commissioner done stepped in it. They don't have a way back. So the only justice left is vigilante Batman style, sliding into dudes with spikes up, throwing inside justice. That's all they have.
It's totally true. That's all they have, because if it didn't get regulated by the commissioner, well, what do you got? You just gonna let them get away with it?
Right.
You're gonna be like, oh yeah, well we didn't do it. I had a half done tattoo. That's why I didn't reveal the buzzer I was wearing. It's like
excuses.
it's so
these
ridiculous.
guys have come up
I think they're good. This is why, and this is fantasy baseball season's coming up. I think those guys are going to have a tough season. Now they're all very good baseball players, which they didn't need to fucking cheat in the first place.
Right.
But you could go back to Barry Bonds, all these other guys. They're good players, but I think the stress and knowing that everybody's fucking on their ass the whole time, they could get hit. They could get hit every fucking time they're up to bat. I think it's going to weigh on them a little bit.
I do too. I think it's going to be real. We're all going to be looking at the Astros like stats in general. I've told this story a couple of times, but they swung through Denver this last year, and I remember sitting there and looking at the stat sheet that the PR guys give us, and looking up at the scoreboard and seeing 1 through 8, every member of that lineup hitting 300.
It's
thinking to
badass.
myself, these guys know how to put together a team.
Yeah,
They know how to train guys how to hit. Look at the way they've turned
Sucker.
Sucker. That's right. And that's why we're all pissed off.
Yeah, because
We
everybody's a
all
sucker.
believed in it. There's that great Ken Burns baseball documentary that's like 1,000 hours long.
I watched the whole fucking thing.
It's so good. And I think one of my favorite chapters is when it's in the extras when they get into the 98 chase between Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa and breaking the record and us not knowing they were on steroids. And it was Pedro Martinez. The title of the chapter is Innocence is Beautiful. And it's a quote that Pedro Martinez, the pitcher for the Red Sox at the time, gave when he was talking about, I would go every morning and I would check in the newspaper, see if Mark McGwire hit another one, see if Sammy Sosa hit another one. And then he just takes this deep breath and goes, innocence is beautiful sometimes. That's what I would like last year. I thought the Astros were the example of how to
Build
not
a
be the
team.
Yankees or the
Yeah.
Red Sox, but still figure it out. You don't have to have the money. You don't have to live in LA or Chicago. You can be smarter. Apparently being smarter also meant this. And it fucking hurts.
It sucks. And the Rockies were an example. They said, oh, look at what the Astros did. The Astros were worse than the Rockies, and look what they did. The Rockies, it's like, no, the Rockies are too dumb to cheat, and therefore they're going to be mired in mediocrity.
And that's another thing that hurts, because then you get stuck in this weird place where like, I wish our team would cheat.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
like,
I don't ever want the Rockies to
Of
cheat.
course not.
No,
Of
I
course
don't
not.
ever want them to cheat.
Colin's like,
Maybe a little bit.
Man.
Maybe a little bit. But
If you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing.
that's right. Well, yeah, that's what's going to make it very interesting. That's why I think I will not abandon the Rockies fully. I think I'm back on the Rockies bandwagon after listening to Drew talk. I'm back on it. I haven't worn a Rockies thing since, and I've been wearing White Sox things. I think I'm going to throw that White Sox shit out, and I'm going to put my Rockies stuff back on.
Yeah!
I'm
who's
back
your New
in
Jersey this year? Pick a new guy. Who's your guy? Pick a new guy this year.
for the Rockies.
Yeah.
Like a new
a
guy.
younger guy, like not Nolan or Trevor. Like pick a guy who breaks out this
Who's
year.
the
Everyone's
dude
gonna
that
get
like broke his shoulder and he's still healing? What's his name?
Brendan Rodgers.
Brendan Rodgers, yeah.
Brendan Rodgers. I love that. That's
Yeah.
a great pick.
Brendan
That's a great
Rodgers.
pick.
I like Brendan, but he's not good though. He's healthy. Not
No,
healthy.
he's gonna be.
a little
He'll be
late.
all right. He'll be there by May.
Who are you going to pick on your fantasy?
Well,
Yeah,
you know
who's
what? You
who's
know
your
what?
late round pick that no one else is looking.
Well, for the Rockies?
Yeah.
No,
I-
nobody.
no.
No.
Ryan
Ian,
McMahon,
Ian
I'm
Desmond. Ian
No,
Desmond.
get off of here. Even I'm telling you, stop it.
Hey, you never know. Hey, listen.
Charlie Murphy.
Hey, look. No, I was gonna say.
Ryan McMahon's going to be in that All-Star game.
You think so? Okay. See, Ryan McMahon's a good one. Nolan's one of those things. I already saw a fantasy article. They're like, stay away from Nolan. And I was like,
Are you?
yeah.
out
Oh,
your
yeah. No, I saw it.
mind?
And I was like, you know what? I don't think so. I was like,
that person. I promise you, that person's never met Nolan.
all those guys. Listen, let's think of all the turmoil that happens for Major League Baseball players, right? This is probably par for the course. The turmoil for the Houston Astros, that's actually legitimate. But I think somebody like Nolan, that guy's going to be focused. He's going to want to prove his worth, and he's going to fucking do good. So I think Nolan's a good pick.
I think Nolan's going to go insane. Absolutely out of this world. And it's never fully clicked for that guy either. There's even like just taking the drama away from it. There's even a statistical argument that Nolan's game is fully coming together right now as he reaches his physical prime. If he stops swinging at 3-2 sliders out of the zone, takes his walk every once in a while, waits for that fastball to come, the guy's going to go absolutely bonkers.
I agree. Colin, are you convinced? Are you in? Are you back in? Are you going to get the tattoo?
Slowly.
Are you going to get the tattoo?
No, fuck no.
Oh,
Nolan being Nolan right there on your ass.
If Nolan stays here, I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
he
that
might-
was the whole idea.
If they go off and have a great year, yeah, maybe he'll stay. Otherwise,
I'll tell you what. If I never get a Nolan tattoo, I will get an Elway tattoo.
okay, all
That's
right.
safe.
We
It's
Is
not
Nikola
safe.
Jokic chopped liver?
oh yeah, get a Jokic one too.
Jokic, you never know.
Get an Elway one.
Literally.
Get an Elway in a car. Drunk driving, hitting Jokic with his car. How about that? How about that? Get that tattoo. I know some they can write that up for you. They can draw it up for you. So,
Take a
all right,
talented artist.
this has gone on too long, but this has been great, Drew.
I want Johnny Bolin throwing Jokic out of a car.
This is awesome, Drew. It is always a treat to have you here. It's always a good time. So,
Always great.
thank you for being here. And we want to talk to you maybe as the season goes along, maybe when it's warm and baseball's being played, we'll have you in here.
Denver sports is great, isn't it?
It is great. It's
It's a
good stuff.
wonderful time.
Tell everybody where they can find you. Tell everyone what you're doing and how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, I'm on the Twitter, of course, the Twitter at Drew Kreisman, at DNVR_Rockies, and thednvr.com. And it's all the stuff, DNVR, Rockies, Broncos, all that stuff. We do the podcast every single day. I'll be heading down to spring training March 1st through the 25th. I'll be having all kinds of fun exclusive content. We're going to get like every dude on the team on the podcast. So if that's your